Every goal you set, every dream you chase, if you keep waiting for the right moment, you're stealing from your own future. The truth is, the most successful people don't have more motivation. They've just mastered how they move. Imagine breaking through every barrier. No more procrastination, no more endless planning, just unstoppable momentum. In few moments, I'll teach you how to force yourself to take action and change your life so you stop feeling stuck in analysis paralysis and start creating the results you want instead. Because once you master this skill, nothing and no excuse will ever keep you from your goals again. 1. The heavy door that won't open. Think of your life as a great heavy door. At first, it seems stuck. It does not move, and the handle feels too strong for your grip. The wood is thick and old. The hinges creak but will not turn. You stand there, staring at this barrier between where you are and where you want to be. But here is the truth that changes everything. You do not need to swing it wide open in one pull. All you need is to push a little, again and again, until it begins to shift. The first push might barely make the door tremble. The second might move it just a hair, but each push matters. Each effort counts toward the moment when the door finally gives way. This is how real change happens in life, not in one grand moment, but in countless small moments of trying. Action is the push. Without action, the door never moves. It sits there, solid and unmovable, keeping you trapped on one side while everything you want waits on the other. The door does not care about your dreams. It does not respond to your hopes. It only responds to force, to effort, to the simple act of putting your hands against it and pushing. Too many people stand in front of that door, waiting for it to open by itself. They think if they dream hard enough or wish long enough, something will happen. They imagine that tomorrow will be different, that next week will bring change, that next year will finally be their time. But weeks turn into months, and months turn into years, and still they stand there waiting. Some people talk about the door. They describe what they think might be on the other side. They make plans about what they will do once it opens. They read about doors and study how other people have opened similar doors, but all the talking and planning and studying means nothing if they never actually push. Others walk away from their door entirely. They convince themselves they never really wanted what was on the other side anyway. They tell themselves the door is probably locked or broken, or that it leads nowhere good. They find other doors that look easier, but these doors lead to places they do not truly want to go. But the secret is simple. Force yourself to push. Take the first step, even if it feels small or clumsy. Put your shoulder against that door and lean into it. Feel the resistance. Accept that it might not budge the first time, or the second, or even the 10th, but keep pushing anyway. When you push that door, you learn something important about yourself. You discover that you are stronger than you thought. You find out that action, even imperfect action, creates more change than perfect plans that never get started. You realize that the door was never as solid as it appeared. Once the door starts moving, it gets easier. The first crack of light that appears gives you hope. The first glimpse of what lies beyond gives you strength. Momentum builds on itself. Each push becomes more effective than the last. What seemed impossible begins to feel possible, then probable, then certain. And beyond that door lies the life you have been waiting for, but it only opens when you act. Not when you plan to act, not when you feel ready to act, not when conditions are perfect for action. It opens when you push, right now, with whatever strength you have, however scared or uncertain you might feel. The door is waiting. Your hands know what to do. 2. The seed that refuses the soil. A seed, no matter how perfect, will never grow if it refuses to be buried in the soil. You can hold the most beautiful seed in your palm, admire its smooth surface, feel its weight, and imagine the mighty tree it could become. You can carry it with you everywhere, keeping it safe and clean. But as long as it stays in your hand, it remains nothing more than potential wrapped in a hard shell. Many people carry dreams in their hearts but never plant them. They cradle these dreams like precious seeds, protecting them from harm, keeping them close and comfortable. They talk about these dreams, polish them with hope, and show them to others like treasures. But dreams that never leave the safety of the heart are like seeds that never leave the safety of the palm. They cannot grow. Why do people refuse to plant their dreams? Because planting means getting your hands dirty. The soil is rough and cold. It stains your fingers and gets under your nails. It requires you to kneel down, to humble yourself before the earth, to admit that you cannot stay clean and comfortable if you want to create something real. Planting means facing the dark. When you bury a seed, you cannot see it anymore. You cannot watch over it every moment or control what happens to it underground. You must trust in forces you cannot see, in processes you cannot control. The darkness feels like death, but it is actually the beginning of life. And planting means trusting that growth will come later. You cannot plant a seed today and expect to sit in its shade tomorrow. There will be days, weeks, even months when nothing appears above the ground. The earth looks empty. You might wonder if you made a mistake, if the seed was bad, if you planted it wrong. But beneath the surface, invisible work is happening. Action is planting the seed. It is the moment you stop admiring your dream and start doing something about it. It is when you take that first step, write that first page, make that first call, or sign up for that first class. You might not see results tomorrow, but the act of placing it in the soil is what begins the miracle. Think about what happens underground. The seed breaks open, splitting its hard shell. This breaking feels like destruction, but it is actually creation. The tender shoot pushes through soil that seems too heavy, too thick, too dark. But the shoot keeps growing, following some ancient wisdom that tells it which way is up. Stop holding your dreams in your pocket where they dry up and die. Dreams were never meant to be kept safe. They were meant to be risked, planted, and given the chance to surprise you. Every day you keep your dream unplanted is another day it loses its power to grow. The pocket is comfortable, but it is also deadly. In your pocket, the dream stays exactly the same size forever. It never disappoints you because it never tries. It never fails because it never attempts anything. But it also never becomes the tree you imagined. Trust the process. The earth has been growing things long before you arrived, and it will continue long after you are gone. It knows how to take something small and make it large, how to take something hard and make it soft, how to take something hidden and bring it into the light. Push yourself to start, even when the ground feels cold. The best time to plant was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Do not wait for spring if it is winter. Do not wait for perfect soil if the ground is rocky. Work with what you have when you have it. With daily care, water, and patience, that tiny seed becomes a tree. Every day you tend it is a day it grows stronger. Every drop of water you give it is an investment in your future shade. The care you show today determines the fruit you will taste tomorrow. You do not need the tree on the first day. You only need the courage to plant the seed. 3. The hill that tests your breath. Climbing a hill is not easy. Your legs ache with each step upward. The muscles in your thighs burn and shake. Your chest heaves as you struggle to pull enough air into your lungs. Sweat stings your eyes and makes your clothes stick to your skin. The path ahead looks impossibly steep, winding up and up until it disappears into the distance. Part of you whispers, "Turn back, it's not worth it." This voice grows louder with each difficult step. It points out how comfortable the bottom of the hill was, how foolish you were to leave that easy ground. It reminds you of every blister forming on your feet, every ache spreading through your body. It tells you that smart people would have stayed where walking was smooth and breathing was simple. But here's what you must remember. The view only belongs to those who climb. At the bottom of the hill, you can only see what surrounds you, the same houses, the same trees, the same small piece of the world you have always known. The beauty that waits above remains hidden from those who refuse to climb toward it. In life, the hill is your challenge. It could be the fear that stops you from speaking up in meetings, from asking someone you admire to spend time with you, from trying something new that might fail. It could be the doubt that whispers you are too old, too young, too inexperienced, or too different to succeed. Sometimes the hill is the voice inside saying, "You are not good enough." This voice has lived in your head so long that it feels like truth. It knows exactly what to say to keep you at the bottom where it feels safer. It reminds you of every time you tried before and did not reach the summit, every stumble that left you scraped and discouraged. You cannot wait for the hill to shrink. You must build the strength to climb it. Hills do not become smaller because you wish they would. They do not flatten themselves because you have waited long enough or suffered enough or dreamed hard enough. They remain exactly as steep and challenging as they have always been. The only thing that changes is you. With each attempt to climb, your legs grow stronger, your lungs learn to work harder, your balance improves, your confidence builds. The hill stays the same, but you become someone who can handle its demands. Action is the first step upward, not the perfect step, not the graceful step, not the step you will take when you feel ready, just the first step, right now, with whatever strength and courage you can gather. one foot in front of the other, one breath at a time. Yes, you will feel tired. Your body will remind you that climbing is harder than sitting. Your mind will offer 1,000 reasons to stop, to rest, to try again another day when conditions are better. The voice that urged you to turn back will grow louder and more convincing. Yes, you will stumble. Your foot will slip on loose rocks. You will reach for a branch that breaks in your hand. You will misjudge the distance to the next solid step and have to scramble to keep from falling backward. These stumbles do not mean you are failing, they mean you are climbing. But each step proves to yourself that you are stronger than you believed. Every time you push through the burn in your legs, you discover you can handle more discomfort than you thought. Every time you catch your breath and keep going, you learn that tired does not mean finished. And the higher you go, the easier it becomes to see how far you have come. Looking back from halfway up the hill, the starting point seems so small and distant. The obstacles that felt so large at the beginning now look like tiny bumps in the path. When you reach the top, the reward is not just the view, though the view is breathtaking. You can see for miles in every direction, understand how all the pieces of the landscape fit together, appreciate the beauty that was hidden from those who stayed below. The real reward is the person you became on the way up. Someone who climbs hills is different from someone who only thinks about climbing them. You carry proof in your muscles, in your lungs, in your heart, that you can do hard things. 4. The battle against the shadow. We all live with a shadow, the inner voice that says, stay where you are, don't try. It's too risky. This shadow follows you everywhere you go. It whispers in your ear during quiet moments, reminding you of every reason why you should not reach for what you want. It speaks in your own voice, using your own thoughts, making it seem like wisdom when it is actually fear dressed up as good sense. The shadow knows you better than anyone else. It remembers every time you were hurt, every moment you felt foolish, every occasion when trying led to disappointment. It keeps a careful record of these experiences and presents them to you whenever you consider taking a chance. Remember what happened last time? It says, remember how much it hurt when you failed. That shadow feeds on hesitation. Every moment you pause, every day you delay, every time you tell yourself you will start tomorrow, you are feeding it. The shadow grows stronger with each excuse, each postponement, each reason you find to avoid taking action. It thrives in the space between wanting and doing, between dreaming and beginning. The longer you wait, the stronger it becomes. What starts as a small doubt becomes a loud voice. What begins as a reasonable concern turns into an overwhelming fear. The shadow learns your weaknesses and uses them against you. It discovers which words hurt most and repeats them until you believe them completely. Perhaps you have noticed this in your own life. A dream that once felt possible now seems foolish. A goal that once excited you now feels too big, too hard, too unlikely. This is not wisdom. This is the shadow growing larger in the darkness of inaction. But here's the secret. The shadow runs from light, and the light is action. The shadow can survive in the world of thoughts and worries and what-ifs. It thrives in the realm of someday and maybe and if only. But it cannot stand against the bright light of actually doing something, anything, toward your goal. Perhaps you have failed before. Perhaps someone you trusted told you that you were not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough to succeed. Those words became chains around your spirit, holding you back from trying again. The shadow uses these old wounds as weapons, reminding you of past pain to prevent future possibility. But every bold step you take is a strike against that shadow. Each time you choose to act despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the voice telling you to stay safe, you are proving that those old words were lies. You are writing a new story about who you are and what you can do. Action does not just change your future, it changes how you see yourself. When you look in the mirror after taking a step toward your dreams, you see someone different. You see someone who acts instead of just thinking, someone who tries instead of just wishing, someone who faces fear instead of hiding from it. This change in how you see yourself might be the most important change of all, because when you believe you are the kind of person who takes action, you become more likely to take action again. When you prove to yourself that you can move forward despite fear, fear loses its power to stop you. When you prove to yourself that you can act in spite of fear, the shadow shrinks. It does not disappear completely. It may never do that. But it becomes smaller, quieter, less able to control your choices. You begin to recognize its voice not as truth, but as an old habit of thinking that no longer serves you. Do not wait to feel ready. Readiness is a feeling that rarely comes on its own. If you wait until you feel completely prepared, completely confident, completely certain of success, you may wait forever. The shadow knows this and encourages you to keep waiting, keep preparing, keep planning until the opportunity passes by. Do not wait for courage to arrive. Courage is not a visitor that knocks on your door when the time is right. Courage is something that grows from the act of being courageous. It builds on itself, one brave moment at a time. Force yourself into action, and the courage will grow inside of you. Start with small steps if you must, but start. The shadow grows weaker with each step you take toward the light. 5. The river that demands a leap. Imagine standing at the edge of a river. Your feet rest on familiar ground, solid and safe beneath you. You have stood here many times before, looking across the water at what waits on the other side. On the other side lies the life you dream of, the work that would fill you with purpose, the relationship that would bring you joy, the adventure that would make you feel alive again. But between you and that life flows a river. The current looks fast, pulling and tugging at everything in its path. White water crashes against dark stones that jut up from the riverbed.